Hello, everyone. Welcome to Donna's Happy Hour. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Today I have Brian St. John joining me again on Donna's Happy Hour. Brian has been busy writing another album and has just finished that album. It's called Dirty Tetris, and he's going to be performing several of the songs from that album. So, grab your drinks, whatever they may be, because I'm hoping you'll spend the next hour with me.
This one's called We Never Knew How Good We Had It. Took one more perfect day and turned it into a perfect night. Fire in the devil's eye that burns so bright. Hand on a hip, six-pack grip, hunting ghosts on nostalgia trips in a dream. It's just within your reach. We get older, everything that's the same cause we had it. Never knew how good we had it. Shift the picture, put it back in the frame cause we had it. Never knew how good we had it. All dusk through dawn, toes planted deep in the mist. Infatuation in the afterglow of your lover's kiss. Plan of attack brings you back. Reality always leaves you sidetracked in a dream. It's just within your reach. We get older, everything that's the same cause we had it. Never knew how good we had it. Shift the picture, put it back in the frame cause we had it. Never knew how good we had it. Lost in a fantasy, wander through patiently, reluctant to end but elegant show. Act of amnesty, come on by, liberate me. Help me to find those places we go. We get older, everything that's the same cause we had it. Never knew how good we had it. Shift the picture, put it back in the frame cause we had it. Never knew how good we had it. We get older, everything that's the same cause we had it. Never knew how good we had it. Shift the picture, put it back in the frame cause we had it. Never knew how good we had it. All right, so this one's called The Moon Will Burn Brighter, My Darling. And I wrote this one when I was in the 9th grade. And then in the middle of COVID, I said, this one's got something to it. So we added a chorus, and it's definitely a tribute to the music of Nick Drake. So, The Moon Will Burn Brighter, My Darling. Wish I was alive on those beautiful nights. Think I'm tired of rambling. Call fate coming around the corner. This time I'll be a man. I'll hide the moon inside into my love. Burns bright, my darling. Sometimes I feel understandable. Silence is how I find my way. Love seems to be intangible. Barren hands and a debt to pay. I'll hide the moon inside into my love. Burns bright, my darling. Sometimes I become withdrawn. Muse my way into the class. Try to find someone up there. Devote my heart to the one I found. I'll hide the moon inside into my love. Burns bright, my darling.
Hello, Brian.
How's it going?
Good. I want to thank you again for joining me. I did announce it on Facebook and Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, because I think the last time I saw you was probably at least a year ago, if maybe longer.
Well, thank you for having me. And yeah, that sounds about right. It's been a little while.
It's been quite a while. I've been kind of cooped up here all winter. I was cooped up this year more than when the pandemic happened.
Ooh, okay.
Which is hard to believe. Yeah. Well, I had bought a car that was rear-wheel drive. That was my first mistake. And of course, you know, we get pretty good snowstorms around here.
Absolutely.
So it made it rather difficult to get around. I wouldn't drive, you know, even with snow tires, but I had gotten a sports car to boot, and so there was no taking that baby out. And so it was a very long winter for me. But for you, obviously, you have been keeping very busy.
I try to keep busy.
Well, now you're a teacher, right?
I am a social studies teacher, high school.
Social studies, okay. I was trying to remember because I know I have other artists that have come on my show that are actually music teachers, which is, of course, makes sense, so they, but I couldn't remember if you were a music teacher or not. So I want to, Brian actually has a new album out, which I did mention on Instagram, and it's called Dirty Tetris. Am I pronouncing that Tetris?
Yeah, Dirty Tetris.
Dirty Tetris. There we go.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to mess that up, but. And tell me a little bit about it, how you came up with the name for that, because, I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, so I consider this record to be the middle of a trilogy of records.
Okay.
The previous one was called A Little Empathy, and
I remember that.
that was definitely a response to the pandemic.
Okay.
But at the same time, as I was writing some of those tunes, I had started writing some of this stuff.
Okay.
And the rules were these songs had to be a little bit more rock and roll.
Okay.
And I wanted them to be about anything but what was going on in the world.
Right, because we've gotten over pretty much the pandemic to some degree.
I think so, and it's thank God, right? And
right.
But yeah, so I was writing some stuff and working on some stuff with my good friend Johnny Rosari, fellow musician, co-produced this stuff.
Now, when you played at the Stone Pony,
yes,
was he in your band at that time?
He played keys on that show.
He did. Okay.
Yeah,
he was very good. He's an excellent, actually.
Yeah, he's a super talented guy. Can play pretty much any instrument. So between the two of us, we can legitimately play 20 instruments.
Wow.
So he and I had been working on some stuff, and it definitely felt more rock and roll. And one night, in the worst of it, kind of April, May, I was sitting down at home, and one gets in a YouTube streaming video loop, and I sort of came upon competitive Tetris, where guys sit in a room and they are playing Tetris against each other, and there's commentators and everything. There's people like us sitting there talking about the action, and then breaking into, oh, Tetris for Brian, or something like that. And I heard a guy say, that's a dirty Tetris, as in like, oh, that was nasty, that was disgusting. He cleared the board or whatever. And I just was like, that's something, So jotted it down. And it also had it sounds dirty, which I sort of liked about it. And given that it's more of a rock and roll record, it felt right.
Well, I have to tell the audience, you're going to absolutely love this album. And I will tell you that you can get it as an album. He's got, and platforms. Let's go over platforms that you're on. Just about everything, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, if you are a bum and don't want to pay for music, because a lot of people don't. I'm looking at you right there. If you're a bum, you can stream it. It's on all your favorite streaming services.
Okay.
I can tell you that if you really, and it doesn't have to be me, if there's an artist that you like and you really want to support them, pay for something physical. Pay for T-shirts. Pay for, pay for a disc. Pay for the vinyl. Whatever you want to pay for. So. Right. But I did CDs for people that still like CDs, and then that vinyl. I call it the limited edition red vinyl. It is red, the actual.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, the actual record, the actual LP is red.
Wow.
So the previous one, the LPs are white. This one's red, and then there's another album which is in the works, and that one will be black, and that'll be St. John's folly of making stuff and putting it on LP. So, but it's been fun.
So, how many albums a year do you put out, would you say?
I don't know if I think of it that way per se. I mean, they just sort of come.
Okay.
if something fits together and,
All right.
the goal with this trilogy of records was to make something that's nice and neat. Nice neat package of
Right.
about 35 minutes of music, because I think that's what people can handle
Right.
these days.
Yeah, why is that? How did we get, think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we're making actually videos and stuff for YouTube and things like that, they tell you, usually make it so many minutes because people are constantly. How did our attention span get so short?
Because
It's
of streaming video,
Yeah, I guess that's-
because of immediate gratification, in my opinion.
I guess that's it, because I always kind of wondered about that. I was like, well, why? Why is that happening? The days of watching a 3-hour movie, I guess that would be hard for a lot of people.
I teach a film course, and I teach a media course, and part of it
Okay.
is on film, and I have to break movies up into chunks for kids because they just don't have the attention
They
span
just don't
used to.
have it. It's really kind of amazing when you think about it, but
I agree.
It is what it is, you got to kind of go with the flow if you're planning on having anybody watch anything.
Well, at least with the nature of music too, if you look at the way the industry was, and in the 50s it was all about singles, and if singles had to be 3 minutes or less.
That's true, you're right.
LPs in the 60s, all your favorite Beatles albums, with the exception of the Beatles or the White Album,
Right.
is 35 or 36 minutes of music.
That's true.
And so when the CD became a thing, albums got longer. They became
Right.
It was in the 90s and the aughts, which I definitely lived through buying CDs.
Right.
It was how much music can you cram on a CD, whereas now last year, for the first time since the 80s, more people are purchasing vinyl than CDs. So,
That's what I have heard, yes, that people are actually going back to the vinyl.
well, and if you're trying to produce vinyl, this is a fun fact for anybody at home if you want to try this. The side length requirements can mean additional mastering costs. It just gets more expensive.
Right.
That's the 35, 36 minute thing is also with intention to save me money.
Right.
Because if it goes
There you
to
go.
2 discs, it's exponentially more expensive.
Right, right.
Or whatever else. So.
Wow, that's interesting because I don't think that people realize so many artists now are producing their own stuff as
Sure.
opposed to having the big record companies behind them, and so it is all out of pocket pretty much.
No one helps me.
Right, so yeah.
At least in terms of the money, nobody
Right,
helps
the cost,
me.
yeah.
Lots of people help with their talents and their time.
Right.
But in terms of the checkbook, it's me.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. And I hear that from a lot of the artists that come on my show. That is, again, I guess the nature of the beast, the way the industry has changed, which I don't know. I often ask artists, is that better or worse than before? Because if you were signed to a big label, pretty much they picked up the bill.
Sure.
But then again, I hear the pros and the cons of that as well. So
Yeah. I don't want to sound like a fatalist, but I'm 35 years old. I'm dead as far as major labels are concerned. No major label is interested in signing somebody who's my age that does what I do.
right.
So,
You think so?
you can look at that in a negative sense of, well, I'll never make it, or you can look at it in a positive way and say, I'm going to make whatever it is that I want to make.
Right.
And in that sense, I think it's very liberating.
I do got to do a little tuning for this one, so while I do a little tuning, I'll tell you a little bit about this. This song is called Codependency, and it should be noted that I don't have a problem, but I thought it'd be funny to write a song about having a problem. and it was an exercise in writing something in open G. Codependency. 1, 2, 3, 4. My attention is silently. In my need-hate relationship, only thing that make me feel, only thing that keeps me in control. Nobody can feel quite like me, living lost in codependency. Sleep is for the weak. There's just to see. Keep the issue real. Destined to break down. I submit some different crowd. No one can hear me shout out loud. Only thing that makes sense in my head. Only thing that keeps me whole again. No one criticizes quite like me. Living lost in codependency. The ammunition, endless suspicion. Try to hold my ground, destined to break down. Sleep is for the weak. There's a chance to see. Keep the issue real. Destined to break down. All right, I wrote this one on a series of walks. It was pretty much done in my head before I ever even picked up a guitar. It's called Our Pictures Tell the Story. Said it won't stop raining. It's been a week and a day. Well, I heard what they were saying. Threw on a coat and walked away. I took the road less traveled. I took a few on through. On the west side of burden. Tail just like yours too. Taking it in all the ups and downs. One beating heart, ship by two. Well, patience tell the story. All the promises we heard. Every hope, every moment brings back every worry. And all patience tell the story. Every minute, every frame. Looks through the ages. Our love remains the same. The veils are strange. That is who we are. Down to the last breath. Gazing up to the stars, you know, smile like achievers. Each image in its case, photos like the dreamers. This must be our place. ourselves. One beating heart, shared by two. Our pictures tell the story. All the promises we heard. Every hope, every moment. Brings back every word. Yeah, our pictures tell the story. Living in the frame. Looks through the ages. Our love remains the same. Well, our pictures tell the story. All the promises we heard. Every hope, every moment brings back every word. You know, our pictures tell the story. Every minute in the frame looks through the ages. Our love remains the same. Remains the same.
Well, I know that in past conversations with you, which I found very interesting, is I had asked you if a big label was to come to you and offer you a deal, would you take it? And you actually said, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Which is truly amazing to me because I think that most artists, whether it be musicians or singers or whatever the case may be, that if an opportunity came along, they would jump at it. And so I found it very interesting because you are so happy doing it the way you're doing it,
Yeah.
which is wonderful,
I guess there's a few facets to that I've been doing this a long time. Like, if a major label person wanted to find me, they could have found me by now.
Right.
So
right.
I don't think they're coming to find me.
Never say never, but
Okay.
I
Sure.
know what
Yeah.
you're saying because let's face it, when a major label is out there, they're looking for, number one, somebody they can groom.
Sure.
Number two, somebody that is usually younger. I mean, they are looking for younger talent. However, they have to deal with the parents if they're underage,
Sure.
if
Sure.
they're underage. Of course, if they're 18 and over, then it makes it a little bit easier. But I think that it's just very interesting because the last time you said, you know what, I'm perfectly content and happy with doing it the way I'm doing it, and that you don't really, maybe probably at some time when you were 18 or so, you were hoping, or even then you didn't care.
I've compromised before, and I found that
Okay.
it doesn't make me very happy.
Okay.
So
All right.
If in that hypothetical situation,
Right.
somebody said, I'd like to sign you, and you have complete creative freedom, well, then you'd have to think about it.
Right.
But
right.
I also have a very nice life.
Right. Right. And
you
that's
know?
that's
So,
what you're saying.
I get to teach kids. I get to play music. I coach, which I like to do. My life at home is very good. My girlfriend is wonderful. Hi, Jackie. Hello.
Hi, Jackie.
And things are good. So
Things are right.
that could also potentially uproot what is a very good thing.
Well,
so.
that is, and that's true. Yes. Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
I know the grass always does look greener on the other side, and once you do have other people paying for a product, it becomes a whole different thing. And that, is, I guess, unfortunately sometimes what they look at somebody as. It's a product, they're a way for them to make money.
Sure.
But having said that, that's also not a bad thing, because then you make lots of money. But, it's everybody's point of view. And again, I just found it so kind of refreshing that you're so content and happy, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
That it really isn't a thought. So you're doing music purely out of love for it.
Yeah, and I mean...
It's not for necessity. It's not necessarily...
I mean, I do go out and play bars, and,
Right.
like, for example, if I go out and play a solo show, I mean, I'm mostly doing cover songs, or
Right.
it depends on the place. Some places you're cool with the originals, but,
Right.
like, they hand me money at the end of the day.
Right,
And that
yes.
also helps afford a good lifestyle.
Extras, right, yeah.
So, I'm on one hand, I mean, it's not like I'm going out there and I'm busking on the street
Right.
to do my original songs. I mean, if I go in and I play some bars, it allows me to make those things,
Right.
which I enjoy.
Right.
And presumably, again, if people want to support artists, and if they like what they do, they'll buy those things, or they'll stream the music, or they'll do whatever to support you. So,
Right.
so that you can go and you can make more of those things that hopefully, at the very least, I know I'm going to enjoy them, but
Right.
maybe somebody
Right.
else will enjoy them too.
Right. Well, the thing is, now when did you start playing?
Guitar?
Yeah, or any instrument.
I started playing guitar when I was 14 years old.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, it's been... My guitar can drink now, because I've been playing guitar for 21 years.
Okay.
So,
Did you come from a musical family? Because I'm sure I asked this, but I don't recall what...
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
They like music.
right.
My parents like music a lot.
Right.
My parents are at the tail end of the baby boom. They're the tail end of the baby boomers. Mm-hmm. So my dad is into that, like, second wave of classic rock.
Okay.
Sort of the later 70s, early 80s
Right.
kind of stuff. And my mom, singer-songwriters and country, for
Okay.
sure.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So between that and then what radio used to be,
Right.
I heard a lot of stuff. My grandfather played, he doesn't really play anymore, harmonica.
Okay.
When he was a kid growing up in the Netherlands in the
Oh, wow.
40s and 50s, and the way in the U.S. and, say, New York City, and, kids would have doo-wop groups.
Right.
In the Netherlands, you had harmonica bands.
Interesting.
So instead of the
Wow.
four guys on the corner singing, it
Right.
was, this guy plays bass harmonica, this guy
Right.
plays chord, this guy plays melody, and they would play together.
Interesting.
So he played that, but no formal training or anything.
Okay.
I went to a guitar teacher for about a year, but
Okay.
other than that, it's just buying stuff and figuring it out.
And figuring, really? Oh, wow. Yeah. Interesting. And that's what I do here most of the time. Anybody that I have on my show, few have had like classical or any kind of real training, that it was just they picked up a guitar, fell in love with it, and then kind of taught themselves, which is an amazing, when I think about somebody that can, just immediately take to something so easily. As a matter of fact, I started playing the cajon.
Oh, super. Yeah.
Because I took dance all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of transferred that rhythm, that natural rhythm, to my hands. But I also just picked up a keyboard
Oh, super.
because I always wanted to learn how to play piano and never did. And so I said, well, you know what? It's never too late. Never too late to do something that you enjoy, or hopefully enjoy. I hope it's not painful. I don't think it will be.
And that's the beauty of music, too. I mean, in high school, I played sports.
Right.
And I still run, and I still play a little bit of soccer, and I play golf. But my basketball days are over.
Yeah.
But presumably, you can play your instrument that you love for...
Right.
One day you're like this, and then hopefully a long, long time from now, one day you're like this, and then you can play every day in between.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get a keyboard, and now it's so easy. Like I know on guitar they have that. What is it called? It teaches you how to play guitar. Like it's. I don't know if you're familiar with it's not Mr. Guitar. It's this incredible little thing that you add to your guitar.
Oh, okay.
And so you learn what chords are what. And I was like, that's, a really smart gadget. But I didn't want to get the calluses, sorry. But, I was like, no. But piano, I'll do. And again, they've made playing piano so easy, that I'm gonna give it a go. So we'll see where it goes.
This next one I wrote with my good friend, Mr. Ray Ferriola. It's called "Live in a Country Song," and it has absolutely no significance to my life whatsoever, because I didn't write the words. You'd have to ask Ray about it. But he sent them to me and said, maybe you could write something to this. And I said, I think I can. So changed a couple lyrics, wrote some music in about 20 minutes, and here it is. I play lead guitar in a rock and roll band, down the shore in a high demand. Play well enough just to get along. Play some classic rock and some songs that I write. I'm shaking my head at the end of the night. Leave the stage, I'm humming a country song. Rhythm section and quiet on the stand. Why in the middle of the night with my axe in my hand, start crowing about someone who done me wrong. Never drove a truck, ain't feeling blue. Had a string of good luck since I met you. What am I doing just singing a country song? Don't get me wrong, I still love rock and roll. I live like that and I die for Joe. But right about now, something else is just coming on strong. Get all fired up, maybe lose control. There's a little bit of Nashville deep in my soul. Always do I be living a country song. Born and bred, so I suppose he was playing in my head. Was a man doing up there where he don't belong? Name a shotgun, really what's come over me like Jimmy Rogers by guitar on my knee. Up all night just strumming a country song. And I heard Luke Bryan sing Bon Jovi songs on the sound so right, it couldn't be wrong. So I hopped on the next Greyhound down to Tennessee. Oh, pick up trucks like roadside bar. I'm worked up that I come this far. So I'm sitting inside just my old silly me. Don't get me wrong, I still love rock and roll. I live for rock and die for Joe. So right about now, something else is really going on strong. Get me all fired up, make me lose control. Cause there's a little bit of Nashville deep 10-gallon hats, and there's me and my Nikes and my Yankees cap. Jumped up on the stage when the band was gonna take 10. Could have heard a pin drop as I made my plea. Wasn't my name up on the marquee. No, I thought I'd be making a huge mistake again. I picked a few chords, drummer caught on the beat. Then good old boys started stomping their feet. Hit the solo in the bridge and the band playing along. By the end of the night, I left them shopping for more. This rock and roll player from the Jersey Shore. Heart of Dixie just playing a country song. Don't get me wrong, I still love rock and roll. You know I live acting in a guy from Joe, but right now something else is just coming on strong. Get me all fired up, maybe lose control, 'cause there's a little bit of Nashville deep in my soul. Always knew I'd be a bit of the country song. So I wrote this song with my good friend John, who also co-produced the record. We thought the presence of people online was becoming overwhelming, including some people that we knew ourselves. So we thought we'd write a song about it, and it's called Influencers. Give it all you can. Take another on the chin. Wasted away like castles in the sand. It's just the shape you're in. Shot thrown in the dark. Filters were casting light. Makes the landscape brighter every day. The void just stalks your sights. When you get one wrong, you lose a sight. Oh, we all make it along through the fire. If you try too hard, it might not matter. For the prize only goes to the actors. You can find someone new, but all your traps are set. Vindication's there just if you choose, but you're not quite there yet. When you get one wrong, you lose a sight. Oh, we all made it on through the fire. Try too hard, it might not matter. For the prize only goes to the actors. This tune is called Stubborn Man. It is autobiographical. Call a runner, stepping out on the love. She's a stunner, down when push comes to shove. Like a fast, should high slow. Lonely living down a long hard road. Clean slate, waiting on from above. Try to push through, buzzing right in my mind. Life's so fast and do what we do. Familiar ground, foundations need to earn back. But it's a long, hard climb. You ain't gotta wait too long. Got the nerve to stay strong. Take your time and do what you need. Working on me, but I am what I am. I'm a stubborn man. I'm a stubborn man. All right. I wanted to write a funny breakup song like they have in hip-hop, but they don't really have that in pop and rock and stuff and singer-songwriter music. So I thought I'd try that. This is called Lateral Move. Sometimes a man gets a time in his life when he can't be lonely, oh so lonely anymore. Begin to feel broken, but you ain't got the drive. Oh, there's something else that you can look for. Pay the price for somebody else's pride. Feel like an empty man, broken from serving time. When love is falling apart and you're heartbroken at your end. When it's time to move on and you're chatting up all my friends and what's better top? You've got nothing else to prove. Now you're gone, being alone's the worst that we do. All my faults, your criticisms, moments when confidence fails. No straight witticisms come hold me back from loving your friends. And what's better time? You've got nothing else to prove. Now you're gone, you know the worst that we lose. What's it better time? You've got nothing else to prove. Now you're gone, being alone's the worst that we move.
calluses with that.
No calluses.
We'll have to show you my buddy Pat's
Well,
hands.
if I wind up with calluses, we know I'm doing something wrong.
Pat, our percussionist, Pat Maloney, good friend, long time. When he's playing a lot of gigs with us, he'll either be doing the cajon or he'll have a full percussion kit.
Oh, no.
His hands are beat up.
Oh, really?
At the end of a show.
Oh, my gosh.
But,
no.
you know, part of that is you are developing a callus on either this part of your hand, the
Right.
cajon, or the fingertips. So,
Right.
you know, yeah, if you're worried about calluses, piano might be the way to go.
And the cajon isn't too bad, you know. I mean, I
fun.
haven't. Yeah, I love it, actually. I'm really, really glad, you know. I picked that up and then I also bought some bongos and stuff like that. But, you know, then I went a little overboard. And then I got the tambourine that goes on the foot, because my feet, like, as soon as music starts going, there goes my hands and my feet. You know, it's just from my years of dancing. I can't help it. So I was like, well, you know what? Let's add the little jingle here and stuff. So, you know, before I know it, I may have things on my arms and
You'll be ready to join the Northeastern Pennsylvania Drum Circle, you know,
there you go.
wherever they congregate.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me, Brian, what else do you have going on? I know that at one time you were booked like so crazy. Are you back to that?
Yeah, it never stopped.
Wow.
I'm booked, you know, for whenever this goes out. This is currently May of 2023.
Correct.
So my next available Saturday, I think, is in October. I'm pretty much playing everywhere in, you know, New Jersey and a little bit of Pennsylvania, New York State. Every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You
know, you should if you want. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you options. You know, as you know, this area has a big summer crowd.
Sure.
So all of the places are looking for artists to play. And so you should check it out. I know Sean, you know Sean O'Flynn?
We've met. Yes.
Yeah. He plays out here.
Yeah, he lives a little closer to here too.
Does he?
I think he's a Vernon guy, West Milford, so he just shoots up New York.
Well, like I said, Airbnb downstairs.
Oh,
You're free, you know, Jackie, you know, make a weekend of it. I've got a pool in the back.
Pool's good.
Lake down the road.
I'm desperately trying not to go into that Caddyshack joke of, you know, we got a pool, got a pond. Pond will be good for you, but we got a pool.
Yeah, there you go.
Too.
That's it.
We've come up here to this area. I don't want to say the name of the town, but we've come up here to this town because they have a very nice hotel, and we've stayed at the very nice hotel.
Oh, yes, they do.
Lovely, lovely restaurants and things. So it is a beautiful area.
It is.
You can see why the folks want to come up here for a little bit of summer R&R. But, I don't know if I could possibly squeeze another gig in, you know, at this point.
No, it's just something for the future to think about. You know, it's here, and you're more than welcome. I'm also hoping that at some point I'll get Brian here for a house concert and enjoy the outside.
Yes.
And you know, just a hint.
No, that would be lovely. And then we'll have to send out, you know, we'll send out exact locations. But until then.
That's right. Keep my.
This is a mystery.
Right.
We're in the mystery zone.
But go ahead. So let's just go over. So if somebody wanted to contact you.
Yes.
How do they get a hold of you?
Okay. Best ways to do that, if you wanted to do that digitally. You can go on Instagram, Brian St. John 13, or you can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Brian St. John Music. Anywhere my stuff is out there, if you're looking for the picture, you're going to see those ducks right there. Whatever album's out, you're going to see ducks. So
you'll know it with the ducks.
I post gigs, like where I'm going to be on the weekends, every week, pretty much every Monday. And then I go, 24 hours before each gig. So you kind of get like a week ahead, and then, hey, here's where I'm at tomorrow, and here, or right now.
Right.
So if you're looking to come hang, you can see some music that way. And
Right.
gigs will be a mixture of my stuff and other people's stuff. I
Right.
play a lot of stuff, so.
I know you do, and I wanted to ask you about your band.
Yes.
Now, so you do solo and you have a band, right? Do you have any gigs going on with your band that I could maybe, that's sort of close?
The closest gig I'm playing to here in the Mystery Zone is at Lake Wallenpaupack.
Oh,
I'm playing a place called The Dock, but that's solo.
oh, you are?
I am, yeah. Playing there in
Oh.
July and August, so.
Oh.
Yeah, we're over there, but band stuff.
Okay.
On June 10th, we're going to be over at the Branchville Block Party in Branchville, New Jersey, which is it's benefit for the fire department.
Sure.
So we'll do a set in the
Okay.
afternoon. Definitely some other band stuff down the line, but
Okay.
for most of the places, it's kind of like we do the budget dance of, hey,
I could do Branchville.
what are you
Branchville's
interested in?
not
What
that
can
far.
you afford? That's how you either
Right.
get a band, or it's the duo, or the acoustic band, or
Right.
et cetera.
So working as a teacher really worked out well because it gives you your summers free, which is nice for gigs and things like that, right?
I'll say that it's definitely an ancillary benefit. It's not why I became a teacher, but it doesn't hurt.
You're right.
I do love teaching. I can't really imagine myself doing something else as my primary living, with the exception of maybe playing guitar in various places. But,
Right.
no, I love what I do. Very, very, very lucky. So
You are, yeah. I was lucky. I examined eyes for 37 years.
I don't believe that.
I kid you not.
Not a day over 10 years.
I kid you not. And I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be doing this. I love what I'm doing now. So I'm very fortunate that I have two things that I really enjoy doing. But yes, yeah.
Pursuing your passions. It's great.
Well, that's it. And that's what people should do. But on a different note, I think we are getting close to wrapping up here. Sorry to say, an hour goes fast. But I want to thank everybody for joining Brian and I. And again, look for the ducks.
Dirty Tetris, out now.
Dirty Tetris. All right. Again, Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Always
me.
a pleasure. All right.